Welcome to Inside Raceland Football, live on Kool TV. Over the next hour, James Collier will visit with Raceland Rams head coach Mike Salmons and players to discuss the 2025 Rams season in their quest toward another return trip to Kroger Field. Now, here's your host of Inside Raceland Football, the voice of the Rams, James Collier.
And a pleasant good evening from the field house here at Raceland Worthington High School at Rams Stadium. Bye week is in the books, and now the second half of the season is ready to take apart. Alongside Mike Salmons, I'm James Collier. Happy to have you along with us here tonight as now the second half of the season gets going and a long road trip for the Rams as they'll make the trip down US 23 and then the bypass over to 80 down to face up against the Hazard Bulldogs. Coach, welcome in this evening. It's been obviously a good couple of weeks for you guys. And last week you talked about a good opportunity for players to kind of take care of their bodies, get themselves ready for this final push. Because, again, the tough matchup coming up with Hazard and district play in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, our schedule felt nice where we had 5 games and had a bye week and then 5 more. In the past, we've kind of played 6 and went bye week and then went into our district play. And so, I think our guys have kind of been in tune, haven't really stepped on the field of competition in 10 days. And so that's a little bit worrisome, particularly after we come off of 2 games where we had a lot of momentum. But our guys, by and large, have worked hard and have taken care of their bodies and trying to get healed up. You're not going to stay healed up. Obviously, we want to play to the end, so that's 10 more games. But I think our guys are really excited to play Friday and what will be an electric atmosphere.
You talk about, getting healed up. It also gave some of those guys that were banged up and trying to get back an opportunity to get back, and you'll see some of those back in the rotation, I think, this week. But last week, Carson Bowden got a return after a week out, and you could really see when that offensive line got set, he's the anchor to that piece of the puzzle. But the good part of it was when he was out, that offensive line kept doing what it does.
Yeah, Carson obviously, has the better part of 15, 30, 35, pushing 40 starts underneath his belt. So what he brings us cognitively and really understanding what we're trying to do is invaluable. But it's more about guys that we're playing through, maybe some aches and pains just to be able to heal those up. Back off on the contact, get some mental work in, get some conditioning work in, get some timing in as we continue to evolve offensively and defensively. But at the same time, not really trying to, crush heads, if you will, and just try to be smart about it and try to stay off the ground, particularly in bye week. Now, this week when you go into game preparation, that's obviously a little different story. But, I think, one, we got some guys that were nicked and banged up, kind of healed up. Number 2, some guys that haven't been with us for a couple of weeks got back in the flow of things. And, whether or not they're able to go Friday and if they are able to go, how much they're able to go, those are all things, you don't really know till you get in game. It's one thing to look good in practice. In practice you may have most of our group periods are 10 and 12 play scripts. Well, we get to Hazard Friday, it's going to be 65 plus plays both ways. So that's a different beast there. And so we'll just have to see how we adapt and adopt in those situations. And then also trying to stay healthy. Sometimes you mentioned Carson, being out for a week, and maybe guys have to take a week off or even 2 weeks off to maybe our goal is to play 15. And so maybe you got to take a little minor setback for a major comeback. And so that's kind of always kind of challenging for us. Not always been the case here for us, but in the past 5 or 6 years it has been. And so that's kind of how we try to manage our team and our roster. And again, I think our guys are tuned in. They know what's at stake. Obviously, we know Hazard, what they bring to the table, and obviously what's transpired in the past. And they have graciously scheduled us for homecoming, so I think our guys understand what's at stake on Friday.
Let's take a look at the highlights again from Newport Central Catholic. And as we look at these coaches, we go through them. When you look at what you have that's there, it's one of those deals that the way you guys ran the ball, you ran it with so much just fierce down the field blocking. The O-line was making holes, and then it was just a very special night that night for Landen Stiltner.
Yeah, so I would say maybe the word there is, the way we ran and blocked for the run game with authority. I thought we had a lot of authority, had a lot of drive behind us, and again, maybe early on we did hit a few big runs early on, but and you'll see this Friday too. Our football team is built for 48 minutes. We're built on, I heard Dan Lanning this weekend. Oregon went up to Penn State and won in the wideout or whatever, and he talked about. I can't remember exactly his word. I think he said keep chopping or something, and then finally you hit the jugular or something to that effect. Our program's built that way. We're built on keep pounding, get to the next play, and let's see what happens after 48 minutes. And so, I think that's kind of what you see over the course of 48 minutes, and that was very indicative in the Newport Catholic game, particularly in the second half when 3-yard runs become 9-yard runs and 7-yard runs become 15-yard runs. And the next thing you know, Atlanta hits a couple home runs, and then all of a sudden the game gets away from you. And so that's kind of how we're built. Then you mix in Jake there with his efficient pass game and then being be able to distribute the ball in the air and then getting some more home runs there. We're really dynamic that night.
The big thing I thought in that game too is that the passing game became electric because of the way the running game started, and then the running game made the passing, or the passing game made the running game take another step forward because they had to start trying to figure out which one you were going to go, and you guys were picking your punches very well.
Yeah, very complimentary, I think would be the word there. Very cohesiveness, very very in tune with whichever approach we were doing. And I think one of the things that was really nice in that game, there I think it was late in the third or maybe even early in the fourth, we got the ball somewhere around midfield going to the south there, and we jumped. We'd been in the spread and had thrown the ball around a little bit, and I think they just thrown a touchdown. We jumped in the tee, and one of our power formations, and 3 or 4 plays later, we're in the end zone, and just where you're able to mix and match your pitches and really lay on people and really try to exert your effort over the course of 48 minutes, it showed. And obviously, our guys done a really good job of that the last 2 weeks. Even going back to Parkville for 2.5 quarters, we were pretty dynamic. Just kind of got away from us there after the break, but. We learned from that, and we're trying to move forward. And obviously, we're excited to get the next opportunity at Hazard, and know that they're going to bring a tremendous challenge for us.
Something we've talked about with the running game that you guys have added another piece to it, and it's not that it's been designed; it's just the read that he's had. But Jake's been using his feet a little bit as well, and I kind of kidded on the broadcast. I think he's got himself in fantasy football this week. He's trying to get some runs and stuff, but. When you have that T formation, you got 3 dynamic backs back there that can go at a different way depending on who touches the football. But when you add that piece of the puzzle with him in there, that brings another piece that the defense has to account for that they typically would not.
Yeah, I think sometimes Jake, he takes off there with his feet and, sometimes gets maybe a little too overzealous for our liking, particularly as a play caller and head football coach. We try to tell that guy, make sure you get a first down, or if you get a touchdown, that's good, but if not, get down. Let's get to the next play here. But, I think some of the plays that he's made with his feet have actually been off script. And when he won this football team over, I was out here on this field a year ago as a sophomore, it was plays with his feet. It was in a Pikeville game, and we knew at that point that what we needed to do to make sure we had the best football team that we could have in 2024. And he made some plays with his feet. And you saw that the other night, he rushed for 50, 60 yards, stays out of negative situations, don't take sacks, throws the ball away if he can't get away from the pocket. And those are things that win football games. Those are things that people don't notice. Maybe the lay fan don't notice. You don't notice when, maybe your completion percentage is off, or you have 4 or 5 incompletions in a row, but you're not taking sacks, and it's a field position game. And obviously kicking is a big part of the game, and, thing that we really focus on. But when your quarterback's able to do those type of things, it just opens up many more avenues for you. And I think by now, you're talking about a guy like Jake has 15 starts under his belt. Listen, I'll be the most surprised guy in the stadium on Friday if they show anything in him that spooks him. I mean, he's very calm and poised under pressure. And if they show something that we haven't prepared for, then we'll get off the field and figure it out. And that's just kind of his demeanor, and that's what makes him a very, very efficient quarterback.
Something with the passing game that I thought has been really good this year is he's been able to kind of mix his passes to his guys underneath, his deep guys, but he's also got the running backs involved. And against Newport Central Catholic, the first touchdown went to Shannon in the end zone, and then there was a drive there coming late in the ball game that it was Stiltner on a comeback route that he got him right there on the near sideline in front of your all's bench, and it's just the open guy, and that's what makes it very difficult. It's not one guy that's going to light up the scoreboard. It's whichever guy happens to be the hot hand at that moment.
Yeah, I think it was on the show a week or two ago. Maybe time runs together. I was telling you, guys in practice were trying to work Jake to, hey, throw me the ball in this play or whatever, and Jake, whatever, he shakes them off and does his thing, but they're not going to phase him. They can't buy his throws. I can tell you that. He's going to go through his reads. He's going to throw what the guy's supposed to have the ball. He wants to be successful. He's a team first guy. What's pretty special about our football team, I think, James, and maybe go miss is the last couple of years, Jonah Arnett has been either one of or our top receiver, both yardage, probably and catches and maybe touchdowns. I'm not a big stat guy, you know that. One stat that matters, that's the one on the WAL side. But we have felt like for this football team, at least for the first half of the season, moving him in the backfield was the best move for us. Will it stay that way? I can't tell you. I don't know. But the last time we played, last 5 times we played, we felt like that was the best place for him. I would imagine as we evolve and we get through this thing and the weather cools off a little bit, hasn't cooled off yet. It was been in the 80s all week this week. I think that you'll see him in some other spots. But I think that kind of shows who the team is, right? And it's obviously credit to Jonah and who he is and how he's raised and what he believes in. But more importantly, how that filters throughout our locker room. And you talk about different guys distributing the ball at different times and who catches the ball and who don't, who blocks for the ball, who catches the ball they block for. And those are all team first things. And so obviously we call plays, not necessarily for people, and our guys really share the ball and distribute it well. And so I think that is probably the biggest reason that you see some of the big numbers put up on the scoreboard when guys really don't care who get the credit. I think you can go in our locker room and take a poll and go around and ask them in private, who you think should touch the ball the most on Friday at Hazard? And I'm sure they would unanimously agree, the top 5 guys would be unanimous throughout the locker room of 52 guys. So the kids know how this football team needs to play to be successful. That's one thing. It's another thing to accept it and be unselfish doing it. And I think that's what you see evolving. That's what's happened with teams before this team. And therefore it carries forward that tradition. And, we're very thankful for that. And obviously every day we work at that. That's not how society is described in, the 21st century. Go home and turn on the nightly news or whatever news station you want to turn on. That's not how the world turns today. But in these 4 walls, that's how we build our football team, and I credit those guys in the locker room for really buying into it.
Something that we talked about this week, and so after each game, we do the Johnson Chiropractic Player of the Game, and Ron Keaton over at DSI, he takes care of making a T-shirt for us that we give to the players and stuff. And he told me the week before the NCC game, he said, now listen, he said, if you get into a situation to where you will do something for the offensive line or the defensive line, he said, let me know and we'll make the extra shirts. Well, it just so happened last week, you rush for over almost 400 yards. You have back-to-back weeks over 500. I said, this is a good week to go for the offensive line. And I said, send me the offensive line. You sent me 8 names. And those 8 guys, I sent the sizes over to Ron, and he had them literally the next day. But when you look at those guys across the offensive line, whether they're a starter, somebody that's had to start in somebody's role being out, or a guy that rotates in, it's your depth. That one of the things you talked about in the preseason. You felt like you had a lot of depth there at the offensive line.
Yeah, it's kind of funny with Ron. Obviously a big Ram fan here in town for many, many decades, and very appreciative of Ron and what he does. And it's one thing to agree to do the shirts. He didn't know how many X's came with it, right?
Yeah, that's right. There was a lot of X's this week.
Yeah, that's one thing I will say. For Class A football, our guys, we have good sized offensive linemen. We have guys in the past that maybe weren't good sized offensive linemen. They had the heart of an offensive lineman. But these guys we have now, when they line up on the field, they look like offensive linemen. So, we have 8 guys, interchangeable parts. I think about, you talked about Carson. I think about a guy like Jake Littrell. For the past, 3 weeks or so, every single day in practice, he's played all 3 positions on the offensive line, including today. He got 2 or 3 reps at guard, 2 or 3 reps at tackle, 2 or 3 reps at center. This is on both sides of the line, both the right and the left. A senior, again, a guy who probably has, he started every game last year, in and out as a sophomore. Of course, this year, definitely 20-plus starts under his belt. So he has some confidence, and some other guys are still learning. But I just think that shows the versatility of who those guys are and how they operate. I'm sure some of those 8 guys would maybe like to get some more snaps, but at the end of the day, they work as a unit, and that's really what it takes. When you got leadership up there, that goes a long way. When you got guys like Bowden and Jay Littrell, but also you have a guy like Vance, who's a senior who's just kind of waited his turn. What we always call around here, who makes who we are as program guys who just kept pounding, kept scratching and clawing to hope for have a chance. And he's taking advantage of it. And it's not just him. There's other guys up there. Isaac Horsley's a senior up there. That's 4 of the 8 that are seniors. And so there's a couple juniors in there. Obviously, we got a sophomore there too. And so guys that are really trying to work and be interchangeable and obviously stay fresh. If you snap the ball 45 times a night, that's one thing. You get in these games. I think maybe our first game of the year, we ran the ball, I don't know, was it 50 or 60 times? That's different. That's different. And so, it takes more bodies, particularly to lean on people. And so those guys have done a great job. I've been really, really proud of them. There is nobody in this building that would deny it. I am the hardest guy in this building on the offensive line. They'll be the first to tell you that. And I'm hard on them twofold. First of all, high expectations. And number two, I've been around long enough to learn no line, no shine. You don't have an offensive, defensive line. It's like that dog at rush hour I always talk about. You don't survive. And we have coached football teams here that didn't survive in November, and that's because a lot of times we weren't good enough on the line of scrimmage. And so I was on those guys today, just like I was July 15th, and I'll be on those guys all the way to December 5th if we're fortunate enough to advance. And those guys know that. And I think that raises the bar, and really excited for them as they continue to work together and just pick up the pieces. One guy goes down, next man up.
How was practice this week as you get back into, like you said, last week kind of more of a mental rest, everybody kind of get ready to go, but this week the pads start popping again, you get ready for contact when you're going to play a good Hazard team on Friday?
Yeah, so last week we were on the field Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, full practices. We backed off the contact a little bit with, full, hour, 45, 2-hour practices. On last Friday, we treated it like a game day up until it was time to go to team meal, and then they were dismissed. And so we got some running, some lifting in, and so on and so forth. So we tried to end with some momentum. Had Saturday, Sunday off, came back in Monday and got the week restarted. Hit the start button, hit the light switch, if you will. Got off the ground. And then Tuesday, and of course the day being Wednesday, it's full speed ahead, full contact, full pads, 10-period practices, team periods on both sides of the ball, group periods, individual periods, and then team periods and different types of work, whether it be, line work, skill work, whether it be, outside run, inside run, whether it be, pass coverage or, pass routes or whatever it may be. And, we kind of have a formula that we believe in every week. You got to tweak it based on your opponent. Obviously, Hazard presents some challenges for us, so we had to rethink and try to reformulate, what gives us the best opportunity to succeed on Friday. But listen, we got 12 seniors. I've been very transparent about that. Our kids are, those 12 seniors know nothing but to play on the last day of the season. You talk about, I know there's been some cancellations in there, but, call it 45 high school football games plus 5 now, so 50 high school football games. Those guys know what it takes, and so they bring their lunch pail every day. And it's just been back to business, and our guys kind of got back in the flow after Monday. I'm sure they enjoyed their weekend off. Fall break coming up. Everybody likes to try to sneak an off day in there, but our guys have been very businesslike, and I'll be very surprised if we don't. We're not really excited to play on Friday.
All right, we're going to step out for a break. When we come back, we've got 3 guys in this house with us. We've got Landen Stiltner, Jake Waller, and Jonah Arnett. We're going to talk with them. We're going to play some pick 6 with them as well, so they better get ready. We got some fun questions coming up. And then on the other side of that, Coach and I will break down the upcoming matchup with Hazard this Friday night. That's as we continue here on Inside Raceland Football on Kool TV.
Good morning, Isabella.
Hi, David.
Back for your morning routine?
Clark's Refresh Rewards program is something you'll flip for.
Hey, Isabella. Hi, Annabelle.
Donut?
Don't forget the sprinkles. Cream and sugar.
Download our app today and enjoy all of the rewards. No flipping required.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family. Because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations, or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Fall fishing season is just around the corner, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Luce, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter the species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style, with a wide selection of tackle from Berkeley, Strike King, Soon, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Border Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland. Since 1992, DSI has been serving their customers with quality products and affordable prices for 33 years. DSI offers a wide variety of gear for your favorite team and also offers wholesale and retail screen printing, embroidery, vinyl, and direct-to-film applications. DSI also welcomes your custom design for your team, business, or anything you may need. Have a vision? Let DSI's custom design team make that vision a reality. For over 30 years, DSI has been the trusted name for quality products and an affordable price. Check them out at 511 Greenup Avenue in Raceland or online at supertees.com.
At Members Choice Credit Union, we believe that strong communities begin with strong partnerships, and that starts with trust. Since 1932, we've proudly served the families and businesses of this region because your goals matter, your family matters, and your future should be built on a foundation you can count on and trust. Members Choice Credit Union, your money, your future, your choice.
Primary Plus is celebrating 40 years of its mission of quality, advanced, affordable health care. With over 11 primary care locations throughout the region, Primary Plus believes in our communities and our patients. The Primary Plus name means primary care, plus so much more, offering extended services such as women's health, pediatrics, dental, counseling, diabetes management, infusion services, and on-site pharmacy that offers free delivery. Primary Plus believes in connecting health care for you and your family and is always welcoming new patients. Learn more at primaryplus.net.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Looking for the latest archery gear? Check out Border Sporting Goods for your best selection of Hoyt and Matthews bows, as well as 10-point crossbows with a full selection of accessories for all your hunting needs. Borders also offers a full selection of shotguns and rifles with plenty of ammunition and reload supplies, along with a full selection of benchmark and case knives. Borders is your headquarters for the largest selection of Liberty gun safes in the area, no matter how big or small you need to keep your firearms safe. Before your next hunting excursion, stop by and stock up at Border Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland. When you are hungry and on the go, stop by the Rams Dairy Bar for your next meal. Rams Dairy Bar offers mouth-watering cheeseburgers and hot dogs made any way you like them, with plenty of sides to choose from. Don't forget to grab an ice cream cone to go or a hand-dipped milkshake with a variety of flavors. Rams Dairy Bar also offers a full selection of flavored coffees to get your day moving in the right direction. The next time you're hungry and don't know where to go, swing by the Rams Dairy Bar, proud supporters of Raceland Athletics for over 25 years.
And we're back here on Inside Raceland Football as we got the door up. The little guys are playing behind us tonight. We've got Greenup and Raceland and flag football, so you'll see some little guys back there working. But let's talk to the guys that we've got here with me. I'll start first with Landon and let you guys go across and introduce yourselves.
Landen Stiltner, number 5.
Jake Waller, number 10.
Jonah Arnett, number 11.
All right, so first off, we were talking off the air here before we came back in. So you guys actually played against each other in JFL. So Landon, you and Jake were teammates against Jonah down here, who was down at Fairview. What do you remember from those games?
It used to get wild. It was always a good game. They beat us 2 or 3 times, but we played them back home, and it was a good game. It's always a close game.
Yeah. Jake, what do you remember about it?
I actually remember throwing an interception to Jonah when we played them at Fairview, and I never heard the end of it after that. But it was always a great game playing against them. They did beat us the first 2 times we played them, but we beat them the last time.
Now, what grade level was that?
6th grade.
6th grade. Jonah, do you remember the interception?
Yeah, I remember.
Do you still let him hear about it?
No, I haven't said anything to him yet. But I remember getting run over by Stiltner a couple times, though, for sure.
Yeah, so things really haven't changed as we've gone along too much. It's just, you guys are on the same team now.
Yeah.
Landon, for you, a special night last week. You get in the end zone 5 times. And, again, I'm working on the record book here at Raceland. And the stuff that I found, I had people actually start sending me messages of like, okay, this happened back in 1991. That's the only one that we had claim it. But you think about that, 100 years of Raceland football, and you might be one of 2 that's ever been in the end zone 5 times rushing. How special of a night was it for you?
It's pretty special. Something you always dream about in high school. O-line done what they're supposed to. Everybody blocked for me, so I mean, it was a good game.
You know, it was weird, too, the way your first and your last rushing touchdowns were 22 yards.
Really?
And then you had smaller runs inside of those. Now, the one you got, you had a big one you cracked for like 54 yards, and you ended up punching in from there. But did you, at some point through the night, did you kind of have a feeling that something was working the way that you wanted it to?
Well, at first, I fumbled right away pretty quick in the game. I was like, I got a little nervous. Thought it would be a bad game for me, but, I mean, turned around pretty quick. I felt like we all done our job, so.
For you this year, healthy, and I think that's been the biggest title that we've put with you, and I know you battled through a lot of injuries last year, but this year, being healthy, how much have you been able to tell, not just your performance on the field, but your game preparation leading in?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big change, especially from last year. I mean, trying to do what I can. I'm ice bathing as much as I can. You know.
There's nothing fun about ice baths.
No, Coach Kratz, I mean, he's like glued to it. It makes you stay in it always. But I see a big difference for sure, you know, so.
Jake, for you, Coach he talks a lot about the Highlands game last year, and that was the game that you won in the locker room. What do you remember about that game? Because, I mean, you guys got beat up pretty bad in that game, but that was the moment that he said that you became QB1 and took over that locker room.
Yeah, that game, it was pretty nerve-wracking because I got told before the game that me and Parker were going to be splitting reps at quarterback every other drive. But I prepared during the week of practice, just like any other week, taking reps with first team, still taking some reps with second team. But leading into the game, I mean, I felt like I was pretty confident in myself going out there. But the guys around me really rallied with me to help build that confidence, and it just led to me starting now. But I wouldn't be able to do it without them and the coaches.
Each game that the season went along, how much did you feel like that the game started to slow down to where you could start processing stuff the way you needed to?
Yeah, the Highlands game, it was very sped up for me as they're a powerhouse football team.
Yeah.
But as we went on, we played a bunch of 1A teams in a row. It really started slowing down. No, the defense was not moving as fast as Highlands did. And we played NCC the week after that. We got a bounce-back win after the beatdown that we got from Highlands. And then after that, the 1A teams, it just helped build my confidence. The game for sure slowed down for me, but the coaches, they just really helped, especially guys around me. They really helped me.
Jonah, for you, we kid, you don't have a position. We just put an A beside your name, athlete. They run you everywhere. For you, I mean, how much is that what you have to go through preparation because of, like Coach said, you could be at running back one night, you could be at wide receiver the next moment, and they could run you any place on the field. You kind of have to know a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's a good responsibility playing all spots, though. But, I mean, like, I like it a lot, but it is a lot of responsibility, knowing all the spots and doing the right thing and doing what the coaches ask of you.
Now, on the other side of that, too, is you don't leave the field because you go to the defensive side, you're in the safety position. How much does one play into the other of knowing what to be looking for and know what the understanding of what this play is going to happen when you're on the defensive side of things?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely, you got to know what's going on, what plays are going to happen. But, I mean, stay prepared, watch film, study, and, you know, make the right plays.
Which one is your, which side do you like to be on more, offense or defense?
Defense, for
sure.
sure.
What do you like a defense with?
Tackling.
Yeah,
for sure.
you like hitting people.
Pick six, for sure.
Yeah, I was saying you had a pick six this year.
Yeah.
When you get the pick six, again, take me back through the play because, again, the most nerve-wracking thing is one getting to the end zone most importantly. Sure. But I mean, you had pretty much a wide open lane.
Yeah, it was all goes and pretty much the quarterback just underthrew it, and I just kind of jumped the route. It was right there.
Now the same week next week, Goodall had one and he got to the 1 yard. Did you give him a little bit of grief on it because he didn't get in?
Yeah, I told him. I said, I did not get in right there. But it looked like he was in on film though, so I gave him crap about it all week.
Now for Goodall though, he's had 4 picks in 4 games. Yeah. And when you guys, you start ball hawking back there, is that something you guys take personal? That's something you guys want to do is lead from that safety position?
Oh yeah, we don't want anything behind us for sure. We want to make teams, just slowly move the ball down the field on us and don't give up any explosives.
Landon, for you play a little bit of defense. You work in the linebacker. Which side do you like more?
Offense.
Yeah.
Offense, 100%.
Now, which one do you like more? Do you like breaking a big run or running over somebody to get a big run?
Running over somebody.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. I mean,
what's the feeling? I mean, when you make that contact and you just put that guy down and you're off, I mean, what goes through your mind at that point?
I just go get a touchdown.
Yeah.
Get more yards. I mean, it's amazing. I know. So my line's there, everybody's there. It just feels good, and especially if I can hit a crowd too. Pretty good.
Your offensive line, we've talked about them so much last week of what they do. Again, Coach says no line, no shine. And what they have been able to do this year with some injuries, some guys beaten and banged up, moving around, and they keep clicking. How important is that for you, for that confidence you have that when you have to hit that A gap or you have to hit that B gap, it's going to be there?
Yeah, I trust everybody that throws up there on the line. I mean, we go through inside run every single day of practice, so I mean, I trust everybody in there. You know, I feel like they got it.
Jake, for you, you've got to go through two centers this year. You start with Carson, he gets banged up, and then Jay Little comes in. How much of a difference was it? And for you, did that have a comfort level of having somebody different in front of you than what you've seen for the last 15, 16 games?
Yeah, the center change was definitely a big difference. Jay Little actually snaps the ball with
left
two hands.
hand. Oh, okay. He goes two hands. Okay.
Two hands. But when I'm behind Carbell and shotgun, I have to actually line up to the left of him because he snaps it over there. But Jayla, I can stand behind him. But the two-hand snap definitely throws me off. And when I go under center, he actually turns the ball watermelon style and snaps it that way. But, yeah, he took on the huge responsibility it is playing center, and he actually did a great job. So, but, yeah, the two different centers in back-to-back games, it kind of threw me off a little bit, but we still did what we needed to do to win.
The offensive line, the way that they have been that cohesive unit this year, they've kept you upright through the first 5 games. How big has that been for you of being able to maybe let that clock run just a little bit longer to get your progressions downfield?
Yeah, it's a great feeling to know that your offensive line has your back, especially the guys that are blocking from my blind side. But the bond that our offensive line has is great. Like no one on the offensive line bickers with each other at practice. Everybody gets along. Everybody does what they need to do to get us where we need to be. And it's just a great feeling knowing that all of them work together as a whole to keep me up and let me go through everything, and especially block for these two and Shannon and everybody else that gets the ball.
Jonah, when you get wedged in with that T formation, it's usually you, Stiltner, and Marucci. And I said there's 3 distinct running styles that's in there. Defensively, how hard is that when you know that you've got 3 different running backs out there that run the ball 3 completely different ways?
Oh, yeah, I bet it's really hard. I mean, we can hurt people with, so many different options. I mean, Shannon's more of a power back. Stiltner's really do it all. I'm kind of just a little bit of make you miss. That's it. But, I mean, yeah, it's really hard to stop.
Working out of the backfield and still catching the football, how big is that to give that element of those check downs that then you can slide out, maybe go in some motion and get down the field for a big ball?
Yeah, it's big. I mean, I like doing it. I mean, doing whatever gets open for Jake. I mean, just trying to find a window. Yeah, it's big.
All right, so we're going to play a game here in just a second. Before we do, I got another one for Jake. So I want to know, do you remember your first varsity passing touchdown?
My first varsity, yeah, I do. It was to Jackson Reister against, no, it wasn't. It was my freshman year against, was it Fairview?
Well, let's see. First off, if you turn around here and you look, it was directly behind you.
It was.
Here's the highlights. This was the Frankfurt playoff game. You hit Eli Evans on this near sideline, and he runs past 6 white jerseys for a 34-yard touchdown on a bubble screen. That was back in your freshman season. You were number 31 that year, by the way. How did he get through? Do you remember that play?
No, I do not.
I absolutely ran into it today when I was doing some research for some stuff, and I was like, I think we've got that highlight. I got to go pull it up. Your freshman year, I mean, do you remember much about your freshman year as varsity was? Were you backing up Logan Lundy?
No, but I do remember in that game I ran the wrong play on a run play, and I got rocked from my blind side, and that was not a good feeling, especially since it was 20 degrees outside.
Yeah, it was cold that night. I remember that for sure. What's the biggest thing that you've watched your progression as you've gone forward from that freshman year to where you are now as a junior?
I'd probably say my level of confidence is way higher than it was, and I understand the offense extremely better than I did my freshman year. We've added a lot more concepts than we had my freshman year to now, and moving from freshman to sophomore year, I didn't really think, like when Parker was going, when we were battling that out, I didn't really think that I would play as much as I did now. But leading into this year, I have a lot more like on my back, and I have to step into a bigger role on the team. But having guys around me They really helped build that level of confidence, and especially the coaches believing in me. I had to earn their respect to get to the starting spot.
And you know something you've got this year that you've got so many weapons that you can throw to. You've got Parker on one side, you got Bryson on another. Brigham Davidson's come on really big this year. Eli Evans has been solid for you guys. And then throwing to the guys out of the backfield. I mean, you can really pick your punches of which way you want to go with whatever the defense hands to you.
Yeah, having Rousey and Parker on the outside really helps, and especially having running backs that can get out and run like Stiltner and Shannon, and even Jonah out of the backfield on like swing routes or even screens. It really helps to open up the passing game. And when you open up the passing game, it opens up the run game. So having all those guys, having the defense have the key on all of our receivers really lets Shannon and Jonah and Stiltner be able to pound the rock and get 4 or 5 yards a pop because the defense is so spread out. So, yeah, and Eli and even Scout, when Scout gets in too, they have to key on him because him and Eli, they're the most athletic kids probably on our team. Mm-hmm. So they have to, like, they're our jump ball guys. So they're really, especially in the red zone, the defense has to key on them, especially if they're in the game one-on-one.
You know, Landon, he brings up a good point. It's something Coach and I talked about in the last segment. Last week, you got to start off running the ball. It opened up the passing attack. The passing attack opened up the running attack, and you could kind of see that transition in the game. Did you kind of feel that's how the pulse of the game was following?
Yeah, I mean, at first, obviously, they played run pretty heavy, and then slowly started opening up more and more, and then the gaps in the opened up how it should have been. So.
Gentlemen, you look and you see a running back like this, and you know, being the running back, you've had nights like that to where you've been that hot hand. Do you have that feeling of you look around and you're like, okay, it's my night or it's this guy's night, and we've got to do everything to make this happen?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think any one of us could have a good night. I think it's a new guy almost every week. I mean, Stiltner obviously having that big night. I mean, it's just so hard for a defense to choose what they want to do. I mean, Jake, even like Coach Sam was talking about, Jake can even run with his feet. I mean, it's just really hard to stop.
All right, let's play a game. So we're going to do some pick six. Landon, we'll start with you. So here's how this works. So I have 6 random questions. There's only one question that's going to be repeated. And we'll talk about that because I think it's going to be a fun conversation to have. But the first thing that comes to mind is what you go with. So I'm going to give you the opportunity of B or C. You want B or C?
B.
All right, here we go. What celebrity annoys you the most?
Taylor Swift.
Thank you. If you could pick the menu for school lunch, what would it include?
Some Chick-fil-A nuggets.
Okay. What's your sauce?
Chick-fil-A sauce.
Okay, yeah, for sure. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Oh no, probably Mexico or something.
Okay. Who is your idol and why?
I would say an idol. Probably not. I don't know.
You don't have an idol?
No.
Nobody you look up to?
No.
Okay. If you could go back in time, where would you go?
Probably my 8th grade year.
Yeah?
Just being with everybody, our playoff run, the 8th grade year, going to state. First time going to state. It was great. I mean, we had a good bond. Every single one of us. We go eat every Thursday. It was amazing. It was probably my best time.
Okay. Now, are you a cereal eater?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Top 3 cereals.
I'm a Lucky Charms guy.
Okay.
Lucky Charms, Fruit Loops. And I'm going to go Oreo O's. You ever had those?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's my top 3.
Okay. All right. Congratulations. You've survived pick 6. All right, Jake, your turn. No pick sixes for you this week, by the way, okay? So let's keep it right here. All right, here we go. What's your breakfast food go-to and why?
Oh, probably cereal. It's quick breakfast, and I love to eat cereal.
Okay. What is your go-to pump-up song before a game?
Probably Shot Calling by Youngboy.
Okay. If you could have dinner with a professional football player, past or present, who would it be and why?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Yeah, I'm a big Buckeye fan, so you got to pick a Buckeye.
You want him or his dad?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay. I see that's the older guy in me. Okay, I'm sorry. Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok?
TikTok.
Oh, gosh, that's awful. All right, name your top 3 cereals.
Fruity Pebbles at 1, Reese's Puffs at 2, and probably Hot Take, but I like Frosted Krispies.
Frosted Krispies, okay. Now, I can't do Fruity Pebbles because it's like you have to eat them in like 15 seconds or they're soggy. Now, are you like do you like the Rice Krispies or anything like that? Like the Cocoa Krispies? Can you do those?
No, I don't like those.
You don't like those?
No.
Okay. Landon, can you do Cocoa Krispies?
Yeah. I'd probably
eat any cereal. All right, Jonah, here we go. What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten to fuel yourself for a game?
I haven't ate anything crazy, but I did chug a thing of chocolate milk before a middle school game one time, like one of those big 2 liters.
How did that work out?
I puked after the game. It was awful. Jordan Stewart's dad got me.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right, would you rather have super speed on the field or be able to read your opponent's mind?
Read the opponent's mind, for sure.
Funniest moment playing football?
Honestly, the other day in practice, so actually yesterday when I was I was running down on the screen and I didn't see Jensen Epling standing in the way, and he came out of nowhere and put me on my butt. I mean, bad. And I was laying on the ground for about 10 seconds.
Jensen's had a good week. He got a pass earlier this week, too.
Yeah.
So
he laid me out, man.
That's awesome. Game day superstitions?
I don't really have any.
None?
Superstitions, no.
NCAA football or Madden?
NCAA football.
Who's your team?
Kentucky.
God. All right, top 3 cereals.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Fruit Loops. I have to say Cocoa Puffs as a third.
Those are 3. All of those are solid, except for Fruity Pebbles. I can't do Fruity Pebbles. I've tried to do Fruity Pebbles. I just can't do it. So, all right. Hazard, Friday night. This is their last game before you get into district play. How big of this game of a moment is it, Landon, for you guys to go down there, set the tone early, and get a nice win on the road?
I mean, yeah, we're super excited, especially coming off a bye week. I mean, we know how important it is, and just especially their homecoming game should be good for us. I mean, we're super excited. Definitely hungry too. I can tell in practice, everybody's just ready to go, ready to go against them. I mean, we're practicing their offense and all that for 2 weeks now, so we're ready.
Jake, Coach talked about, said if they bring anything out that you haven't seen, he'd be surprised. But what do you feel like preparations for you this week has been getting ready for that defense?
Yeah, my prep this week has been like any other week. You just got to take it one day at a time. You just got to learn a new concept every other day. So like if what they're in ACE, what they go to in trips, 2-back. But our prep this week as a whole team, I feel like, has been on a different level. Everybody's been doing what they need to do for us to be successful on Friday. And Hazard's a good team. Like, I'm not going to put them down. They're a great team. They're a great football team. But our prep this week is a whole nother level. I feel like we're ready for this game.
Jonah, this is a team that it's no secret they're going to throw the football. No. They've got a really good plus-arm quarterback, and he's got 3 prolific wide receivers that he can go to at any point in time. What do you look at this week that you guys have to do there on the back end to kind of limit what they can do?
Just have to read our keys really defensively. I mean, they like to throw a lot of screens, spread you out. I mean, we have to get to the line, tackle, and of course keep Gavin Johnson in check. I mean, they're going to try to get him the ball a lot. I mean, we just got to get him to the ground and limit his touches.
Well, guys, greatly appreciate the time. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you guys Friday night down Hazard.
Thank you.
All right, we'll step out for a break. We come back. Coach Salmons will join me. We'll break down Hazard as we get ready to make the trip down US 23. That's as we continue our coverage here on Inside Raceland Football on Kool TV.
Good morning, Isabella.
Hi, David.
Back for your morning routine?
Clark's Refresh Rewards program is something you'll flip for.
Hey, Isabella. Hi, Annabelle.
Donut?
Don't forget the sprinkles. Cream and sugar.
Download our app today and enjoy all of the rewards. No flipping required.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family. Because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Fall fishing season is just around the corner, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Luce, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter the species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style, with a wide selection of tackle from Berkeley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Border Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Since 1992, DSI has been serving their customers with quality products and affordable prices for 33 years. DSI offers a wide variety of gear for your favorite team and also offers wholesale and retail screen printing, embroidery, vinyl, and direct-to-film applications. DSI also welcomes your custom design for your team, business, or anything you may need. Have a vision? Let DSI's custom design team make that vision a reality. For over 30 years, DSI has been the trusted name for quality products and an affordable price. Check them out at 511 Greenup Avenue in Raceland or online at supertees.com.
At Members Choice Credit Union, we believe that strong communities begin with strong partnerships, and that starts with trust. Since 1932, we've proudly served the families and businesses of this region because your goals matter, your family matters, and your future should be built on a foundation you can count on and trust. Members Choice Credit Union, your money, your future, your choice.
Primary Plus is celebrating 40 years of its mission of quality, advanced, affordable health care. With over 11 primary care locations throughout the region, Primary Plus believes in our communities and our patients. The Primary Plus name means primary care plus so much more, offering extended services such as women's health, pediatrics, dental, counseling, diabetes management, infusion services, and on-site pharmacy that offers free delivery. Primary Plus believes in connecting health care for you and your family and is always welcoming new patients. Learn more at primaryplus.net.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Looking for the latest archery gear? Check out Border Sporting Goods for your best selection of Hoyt and Matthews bows, as well as 10-point crossbows with a full selection of accessories for all your hunting needs. Borders also offers a full selection of shotguns and rifles with plenty of ammunition and reload supplies, along with a full selection of benchmark and case knives. Borders is your headquarters for the largest selection of Liberty gun safes in the area, no matter how big or small you need to keep your firearms safe. Before your next hunting excursion, stop by and stock up at Border Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland. When you are hungry and on the go, stop by the Rams Dairy Bar for your next meal. Rams Dairy Bar offers mouth-watering cheeseburgers and hot dogs made any way you like them, with plenty of sides to choose from. Don't forget to grab an ice cream cone to go or a hand-dipped milkshake with a variety of flavors. Rams Dairy Bar also offers a full selection of flavored coffees to get your day moving in the right direction. The next time you're hungry and don't know where to go, swing by the Rams Dairy Bar, proud supporters of Raceland Athletics for over 25 years. Back here on Inside Raceland Football, big thanks to Landen Stiltner, Jake Waller, and Jonah Arnett. I think, Coach, they could have had a whole entire segment. I mean, they were pumped this evening.
Yeah, three. So we have a big junior class, over
Yes.
20 juniors. Obviously 3 of the more heralded guys there, at least in the skill world. There's some linemen there. I guess we'll try to, get on there next. But guys that, again, you saw the young kids in here. They all know them by name, right? I mean, Jake's a quarterback, and Jonah's a two-way starter and has been for 3 years now. And Landon's electric with the ball, and he's finally healthy, and that's showing. And his production's been special. And just 3 guys who I'm really proud of how much they've grown up. How they've matured emotionally. I heard Landon talk about his 8th grade year and what a special run that was. I was there. It was a lot of fun. But just how much they've grown since that night. We played Belfry on that night and was not successful. But just how much they've grown since then, not only them individually, but them as a group. And now, I always talk about at Raceland, what makes it special is when you start mixing groups together. I think sometimes people misunderstand that, when you play a 7th grade game or 8th grade game or a 4th grade game and maybe you're not successful or maybe you are successful. People think that's, fatal, or that's final, and it's the farthest thing from it. When you start blending groups together and getting guys working together and cohesiveness, but among, in high school, it's 4 grades. And so really a lot goes into it, and you start putting pieces together. That's what really makes it fun, and those guys have done a great job, and really excited to see where they can, take us this next 10 weeks.
Let's talk about Hazard. It starts with their quarterback, William Shoptaw. He can sling it all over the field. only a sophomore, but he's got an electric arm. He's got some really good pieces that he throws to, and the boys they identified him. Gavin Johnson. I mean, we've heard of his name. We've played against him. He's a phenomenal athlete, and he's a guy, like they said, when you get to him, you have to get him on the ground, because if he gets an open space, he's going to run away from you.
Yeah, the Shop Talk kid's special. He's got special arm talent. I would say a top, 5-10 arm in the state, and particularly being a sophomore. He did play some against us last year in certain packages. Coach Chandler used him as quarterback, and so he has some game experience. He's got several weapons on the outside that are outstanding. Everybody speaks about Johnson, and Johnson is special, but there's also some other guys. A couple weeks ago against Campbellsville, the number 6.
Connor Holbrook.
Holbrook kid was just phenomenal. Now here in the playoffs last year against us, he was phenomenal. The tight end they used, number 0, I think his name's Fullwood or something.
Javion Fullwood.
If I'm saying that right. He's just an outstanding young football player. I think he's a sophomore now. Big target, runs well, physical, tall, big target for them to hit underneath and over the middle of the field. They've got a couple other role players out there. I know one of their freshmen, 17, Kilburn kid, got a touchdown the other night. And lost in all that is the last 3 weeks, number 2.
Number 2, the running back, Cam Miller.
75-ish carries. Been over 150, 160 yards 3 weeks in a row. I think that gets lost in there, and maybe, again, they're complementary with each other too, and so it really stresses you. I think some games you see teams, absolutely daring them to run the ball, and they try to take away the pass, and so they just run it. Other weeks you see teams really trying to take away the run and cause them some trouble, and then they just air raid it. And so it's really a situation where you got to pick your poison and try to, study and try to guess at the right times. You're not going to guess right all the times, and when you guess wrong, you just hope you can keep it in front of you and not give up explosives, which is one thing that it's kind of been our bugaboo, if you will. One thing we've really been trying to focus on is trying to minimize and try to limit those explosives. It's one thing to give up a 12-yard run or a 20-yard pass. That's one thing. It's another thing when you give up 60, 70 explosive plays for touchdowns. That's a different level of explosiveness. Yeah. And so, those are all things that will be really tested for our defense on Friday night.
You look at their defense, and we hit on this last week when we started talking a little bit about them, but it's no secret. Number 1, he stands right in the center of the defense. Landen, excuse me. He is just a different type of phenomenal athlete that he anchors everything they do defensively.
Yeah, he sits right there in the middle. They do a great job protecting him, and he does an outstanding job of getting early reads on the ball. And then his ability to run to the ball and finish once he gets to the ball is special. And so he's been a multiple-year starter for him, I think, even going back 3 years. Maybe he was a freshman. We played them, I think, in the playoffs here in 22 as well. And so he's really the anchor of that defense, at least in the front side. 14 and 6, Johnson and Holbrook both play kind of on the back end or on the edge for them, as well as corners and safeties. But one really makes things right. What I would say, definitely tackle to tackle. Maybe I would even say C to C. And then you got Holbrook on one side and Johnson on another, who are really obviously outstanding football players. And so presents a lot of challenges. Like in their game last week, they just suffocated the quarterback and the run game. Knox had no run game whatsoever last week, and the quarterback got sacked multiple times. So a real challenge for us. Add on top of that, 2 hours and 27 minutes, I think my phone shows, from where we're sitting to Bulldog Lane down there, and put a little homecoming parade on top of that, an 8 o'clock kickoff, and down in the holler, as they call it. And but that's what high school football is all about, right? I mean, what kind of environment can you put your kids in? What kind of adversity can kids face? And what can they walk out of that learning? Not only about the team, not only about the future of our team as we go through the rest of our schedule, but also as they can take with them through life. And so, those games to me are fun. We've been in several road environments, some close, hostile, some down south, hostile, and then we'll just see how much we've grown in those areas.
This one, a big one again, because it's a Class A opponent. And this week, the first RPI rankings released. KCD 1, you guys were 2. And again, there's a lot of stuff that still factors into everything out there. But the most important thing, You just got to win. That's the most important thing, and the cards fall as they may. But the most important thing is that you want that momentum going into your most important 3 games coming up, and that's your district play in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so, a couple things I've always said about RPI. Number one, you got to win your district. If you win your district, the first 2 rounds of playoffs are set for you. RPI is somewhat irrelevant. Beyond that, if you can play at home after round 2, I think there's a big advantage. But we've shown over the past history, if you play at home, it's worked out for us. When we played on the road, it's worked out for us. We've been on both sides of that. And so, Hazard's a potential round 3 opponent, being that they're in the East, because the round 3 is just the East and the West. It's not the total state. And so, in that regards, that makes this game a little bit bigger with RPI implications, if you will. But there's no trophy going out Friday. We know that. But at the same time, if you have a chance that we always preach about, it's on our practice schedule every single day of the year since July 15th, is control the controllables. The things you can control them. The things you can't, let go. Let go the flag here, the flag there. Was it offsides? Okay, you can control that. Was it a judgment call? Okay, you can't control that. Let's do better and learn from it. And so we have an ability to go out Friday and control things that we can control. And if we do that to the best of our ability, I feel certain that our guys will be happy with the result. But that's got to be the focus. You can't get caught up in looking at things that are irrelevant or that's out of your realm of control. And if we can maintain that laser sharp, narrow-minded, a lot of times I would like to put blinders on these kids like they do in the Kentucky Derby. So they can't see, and they certainly can't hear all that noise and all that rat poison. All they can see is what's in front of them. And if you have that laser sharp focus, I feel like we'll be happy with where it ends up at.
You talked about the biggest thing is that Hazard coming into this. You guys have been preparing for 2 weeks for this game. Do you expect to see them as being at the halfway point of the season try to throw some wrinkles at you, something that you didn't see, or at this point of the season, are you pretty much who you are, who your numbers say you are?
Well, I would think a couple of things. Yeah, they're going to throw some things at us. They have run multiple trick plays over the course of the year, and even going back to Coach Chandler, first year, last year, they've opened up some games with trick plays, ran some trick plays the last 2 films that we've got in trade from them. And so they do some trick plays. That's number one. I think the biggest thing there is those trick plays end up, playing their way out, and at some point everybody settles in and blocks and tackles and take care of the football. And whoever can block and tackle and take care of the football the best will have the best chance to be successful. Those other things typically are phased out as the game goes on. They can gain some momentum, of course they can, and you have to find a way to combat that. But Coach Chandler does a great job. He's a very, very bright offensive mind. They're going to have some things in store for us that really will, put our defense in conflict, and we know that. It's part of the chess match going in as you try to adjust and adapt on the fly. And in the meantime, I often talk about this when you go on the road. You just can't get that early knockout, like to use the boxing analogy. You can't get caught with your hands down early and take one on the chin. You never get a chance to land on your feet. And so that's a big point of emphasis for us this week. And our guys really have to be toned in early to any type of those type of situations.
How big was it facing the quarterback from NCC 2 weeks ago to kind of put you in preparation for what you're going to see Friday?
Yeah, I think there's obviously some things you can draw, and some things we've drawn over the last 2 weeks, for that matter. The kid from NCC was a little bit different in essence that the way he played with his feet. A Choctaw kid certainly can play with his feet, just not his preference. He wants to throw the ball or try to buy some time, and guys break loose in the secondary and scramble drills. I think their arms are probably similar. This kid, from Hazard is going to be a little bit taller, a little bit more prototypical Saturday afternoon quarterback looking, if you will. He's a sophomore. The guy from NCC, senior, a little bit more thicker, probably a little bit more time in the weight room, probably 18, 19 years old, a little bit more physical stature than the kid this week. But I think there's definitely some comparison there and some good reps for our secondary to draw on from that night. And not just our secondary. I think a lot of times people misconstrue that. You got to get underneath coverage from linebackers. And, there's no secret. The best pass coverage is the pass rush. And so we got to rush the passer. And all those things working in unison is really what helps you stop teams that really try to air raid you.
We'll have the coverage from Hazard beginning at 7:40 with countdown to kickoff. 8 o'clock kickoff because it's homecoming night and a long trip down there. So we'll have all the coverage coming to you audio only from down, as like Coach said, down in the holler. down in Hazard. So, Coach, appreciate the time this week. We'll see you Friday night, and we'll do this again next Wednesday, and hopefully talking about a good win and leading into what's going to be homecoming for the Rams when they start district play with Fairview.
Yeah, again, we're really looking forward to the challenge. We have six away games, and I've often joked they should fire the guy who made the schedule. But when you're trying to build a football team with, we begin with the end in mind, not the other way around. We begin with the end in mind, and to get to our end goal, this is required for our growth. And I'm really excited to see our football team perform on Friday. And as the ebbs and flows of the games, as those storms come that I often talk about, the storms within the game, excited to see how our response is.
All right, Coach, we'll talk to you Friday night.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Big thanks to Jacob and Felicia behind the cameras. They only screwed up at least once tonight, both of them at some point in time. But, hey, I think everything looks good on screen. Of course, big thanks to Landon, Jake, and Jonah for joining us here in the program. Be sure to join us each Wednesday night right here from the Fieldhouse at 7 o'clock on Kool TV. For Coach Mike Salmons, Jacob Hankins, Felicia Collier, and James Collier. So long, everyone.